If you ain't working with wire, then you ought to get fired. If your coil ain't tight, then you ain't right. Take it from me, wicking is key. Airflow must be there, or you'll be pulling out your hair. So make sure she's tight, no hot spots in sight, and she'll be vaping all right. Got another cool building tutorial for you guys today, and I tell you what, I have had a ton of requests to do this build, and I'm talking about 200 plus requests, all the way down to the gauge wire and the type of wire. Today is going to be 26 gauge GPlat triple parallel build. That's right, triple parallel build. That's what seems to be in right now. Seriously. Tons and tons of vapors keep messaging me. Rip, you gotta try this GPlat 26 gauge and you gotta do a triple parallel build. So I did. I did it. Question is, do I like it? Do I love it? You're about to find out. So the RDA I'm using today is the plume veil. You guys know how I feel about the plume veil. It's the bee's knees. The tree's leaves. Just damn sick as tits is what it is. I love it. Right now I'm recommending this thing to any dripper out there, any dripping fiend. You gotta try the plume veil if you haven't tried it. It's the good stuff. So yeah, I've got this plume veil sitting on the 24 karat gold plated V3 flip. Loving it. And the build I have in here obviously is the triple parallel with a 26 gauge GPlat, and it's reading at 0.15 ohms. Yes, that is a low resistance build, especially for the gauge you would think, but you know what? This thing's putting out. It's putting out. Now, I'm going to get into the pros and the cons, but I want to vapor first. I'm going to show you the performance. Forgot to tell you guys, I am running her in single coil mode. That's all you need. Holy crap. Flavor is so damn good. And you know what? 0.15, I wouldn't think the flavor would be as good as it is. It's a hot vape, but with this plume veil being wide open in single coil mode, I mean, it's not a scorching vape, but it's a hot vape. I mean, it's not like too much to handle. For some of you guys it may be, some of you guys that don't like to vape below 0.5 ohms, 0.3 ohms, but those of you guys out there that like to vape 0.15, 0.2, maybe even lower, you're gonna love this, okay? It's definitely intense, it's extreme, it's in your face, hot, dense, flavor, thick vapor, okay? You guys see it. The performance is insane. The ramp up time on this coil is nothing. I mean, you hit that button and it is hot. I mean, vaporizing that juice in your mouth, in your lungs, and you getting full flavor. Let me tell you something about this GPlat. Flavor off of this is insane. Now I know there's people having doubts about it with all the crap going on. If you guys didn't read what I posted in the last video, the Cloud Chasers Part 2, read it. I'll post it here again. How about right now? So yeah, that should answer any of your questions, any of you doubters out there about this GPlat. But you know what? If you're still having doubts, then don't use it, okay? Simple as that. If you have doubts, throw it out. Like I said, flavor is killer, vapor is killer, lung fill is killer. But again, that's all subjective. What I may love, you may not love. I'm gonna tell you right now though, if you're an extreme type of vapor, you're gonna love this. If you're not gonna like it. Flavor is off the charts. It really, you gotta try it. If you got 26 GPlat, you gotta give it a whirl. It's gonna be totally different than if you're using regular Kanthal because it's totally different wire. You're not getting that GPlat experience. And also, if you're using GPlat, the resistance is gonna be quite a bit lower than regular Kanthal. Like I said, this is a 0.15 ohm build, and that's with 5 wraps around a 3/32 drill bit. You'll see all this stuff in the close-ups. I'll take it to the close-ups and show you, but it's wrapped around a 3/32 drill bit. In the surface area, I mean, this coil is like that. It's covering so much surface area. The ramp up time is like nothing. It heats up so damn fast. I would say the biggest con to this build is the fact that I have to keep dripping every hit because it's like it's a guzzler, man. It'll vaporize that juice like that. There's a lot of people out there and they're like, hey Rip, he's posting coil belt videos. Every coil belt video he says is great, is the best. You know what? If I'm doing a video on it, that means that I really like it. Now again, you may not like it, but that's your thing. You gotta do what you like. I'm just doing what I like and sharing it with you guys. And this triple build, this triple parallel build, I knew this is gonna be something special before I even built it and vaped it because I've had over 200 freaking PMs about this setup. That tells me that people are liking it, and after vaping it, I highly recommend it to you guys that has some of this 26 gauge GPlat. So now we're going to go ahead and dive down. I'm going to show you guys how to build this sucker, and then we're going to come back and wrap her up. You guys ready? Let's go. Today we're going to be using this 26 gauge GPlat. Alright, so with this 26 gauge GPlat, I've cut 3 equal pieces, about 6 inches in length. Now you want to make sure that these pieces, these 3 pieces of 26 gauge GPlat, you got to make sure that they're side by side. And I'm going to be using this flathead screwdriver, okay, the end of this flathead screwdriver, and it's about equivalent to a 3/32 drill bit. And all I'm going to be doing is 5 wraps of this triple 26 gauge GPlat. Make sure they're as close together as possible and none of the wraps are overlapping. And when they do overlap, make sure that you pull them tight, pull the slack out. One more wrap just like that. Okay, and there she is so far. Oh yeah. Cut the excess leads. Make sure that one is longer than the other. Makes it easier to install in your RDA. So we're going to go ahead and install her. Again, make sure that your leads are side by side. They're not overlapping. Okay, just like that. Tighten down the connections. And the reason why I put this lead in the opposite hole is because it gives me more room and I want to go ahead and center it. It just makes it a lot easier to center it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out, insert it. That way I can center it a lot easier. Oh yeah. Just like that. Go ahead and clip these leads. Alright, check the resistance. 0.15. Look how fast this sucker's firing up. Holy moly. Going from the inside out. That's what you want. Now with this type of coil, you want this wick to be tight. I mean really tight in there. Make sure it's open back here because there's airflow coming through the negative posts. Alright, so that is how to build the triple parallel build using 26 gauge GPlat. Yeah, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think if you do give it a shot. Now, like I said, if you're using regular old Kanthal, it's going to be different because it's a different wire. But if you have the 26 gauge GPlat, try it. Let me know what you think. You know what? After this video, I'm going to start experimenting with different size drill bits, and I'm going to do more wraps, get the resistance higher, above 0.15, above 0.2. I'm going to try to get her to 0.3. I mean, I know that's a shit ton more wraps. I feel like I could do that on this plume veil. I could definitely do it on the Asmodus, that big ass RDA, because I've got more room in the deck. I'm going to experiment with that and see how she vapes, see what the ramp up time is, etc., and then get back to you guys. But I'm really impressed with this type of build. It's obviously going to be good because it's covering more surface area. The biggest con to this build and this resistance is that it guzzles. I mean, it guzzles. I can go through 10 mils in an hour and a half, 2 hours, tops. But the vape experience is phenomenal. I mean, would I trade that? You know, over time I would get annoyed with having to drop it every other hit. But again, I'm going to experiment with it, try to get it higher on the resistance and see how that vapes. Hope that helps, guys. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.